Hey everyone! Tonight we're following the slow, exhausting, deeply uncomfortable journey of a medieval traveler making their way across Europe. Not a hero, not a knight, just a person with sore feet, questionable life choices, and an alarming lack of clean water. Let's begin. Imagine waking up before dawn in a small medieval town. The kind of town with one main street, several pigs who believe they own it, and a church bell that rings far earlier than anyone asked it to. Our traveler rises from a straw mattress that has clearly hosted generations of fleas, each with its own family tree. Breakfast is simple. Bread. Always bread. Sometimes bread that could double as a defensive weapon. If you're lucky, there's cheese. If you're very lucky, it hasn't started walking away on its own. Our traveler sets off as the mist clings low to the fields. Roads, and the term is used generously, are little more than muddy suggestions. In summer, they're ruts. In winter, they're rivers of despair. In spring, both at once. Shoes are thin, usually second-hand, and already wet. They will remain wet for weeks. As we walk, let's remember that medieval Europe had no unified map system. Distances were vague, directions were mostly guesses. Asking for help meant stopping someone who might speak a different language, or simply point vaguely east and wish you luck. This was not a helpful time. By mid-morning, the traveler passes fields worked by peasants bent low over the soil. These people have lived here forever. Their grandparents lived here, their children will live here. Travel is suspicious. Anyone walking too confidently is probably a tax collector, a messenger of bad news, or worse, someone from the castle. Speaking of castles, eventually one appears, looming, stone, cold, impressively unnecessary in size. Inside lives a noble family with an excellent title, a questionable lineage, and a bloodline that is folded in on itself like an overused piece of parchment. The lord of this castle is probably related to his wife, not closely of course, just enough to keep things interesting. Their children are pale, frail, and prone to staring into the middle distance as if listening to voices only they can hear. This is considered perfectly normal. Our traveler does not enter the castle. That requires permission, gifts, or a willingness to be conscripted into something unpleasant. Instead, the traveler moves on, hoping to reach the next town before nightfall. This is wise. At night, roads belong to bandits, wolves, and people who claim they are neither, but clearly are both. By afternoon, hunger returns. There's more bread, possibly a boiled turnip. Water is taken from a stream and tastes faintly of cow. No one comments on this. Everyone drinks it anyway. Dysentery is just a suggestion at this point. As the sun dips lower, church bells echo across the countryside. They mark time, prayer, and the slow, inevitable passage toward an early grave. Our traveler feels relief spotting a roadside inn. Inns are loud, smoky, and full of strangers who snore creatively. But they have walls, and walls are nice. Inside, the innkeeper eyes the traveler carefully. Travelers bring stories. They also bring trouble, disease, and unpaid bills. A bed is offered. It is communal. Several other people are already using it. This is normal. Privacy has not been invented yet. Dinner is stew. No one knows what's in it. No one asks. A fire crackles. Someone plays a lute badly. A merchant complains about tolls. A pilgrim talks too much about relics. Everyone nods politely and hopes he stops. Our traveler sleeps lightly. There are rats. There are lice. There is a man coughing in a way that suggests history will remember him. In the morning, the journey continues. Borders mean little except new taxes and new accents. As the traveler moves toward France, language softens, food improves slightly, and nobles become dramatically more concerned with appearance. French aristocrats, you see, are obsessed with elegance. Their castles are decorated, their clothes are elaborate, Their personal hygiene is theoretical. Perfume is applied generously to distract from reality. At court, a king holds power, or rather he holds a crown while advisors, mistresses, and distant cousins quietly run things. This king has a nickname, they all do. The fair, the bald, the pious. These names are optimistic at best. The fair, for example, often means not actively hideous by medieval standards. It does not mean attractive. It means symmetrical enough to be painted without artistic lies. Our traveler hears rumors at inns. The king is ill. The king is paranoid. The king has executed 3 advisors this year and feels much better about it. Naturally, this has made things worse. Moving south, vineyards appear. Wine replaces water because it's safer. Children drink it. Monks drink it. Everyone drinks it. Sobriety is a rare and suspicious condition. Crossing into the Holy Roman Empire, the traveler enters a land of extraordinary complexity and absolutely no unity. Hundreds of small states, each with its own ruler, laws, and intense confidence in their importance. Here, nobles argue endlessly over titles: duke, count, margrave. Everyone is someone. Everyone is related. Everyone believes God personally supports their claim. Royal marriages are negotiated carefully. Love is irrelevant. Bloodlines are everything. Which is unfortunate because these bloodlines have not met new blood in centuries. Chins grow prominent, eyes protrude, jaws misalign. This is destiny. Children born into these families are delicate. They are wrapped in linens, kept indoors, and still manage to die young. Survivors grow up anxious, rigid, and deeply unprepared for leadership. Naturally, they become emperors. Our traveler skirts around court life, sensing danger. Instead, they pass through market towns filled with guilds, bakers, blacksmiths, weavers, each guild fiercely protective of its trade and deeply suspicious of innovation. Change is bad, tradition is safe, even if tradition involves frequent fires. As winter approaches, travel slows. Snow covers roads, inns fill, stories grow longer. People complain about the cold as if it were new. The traveler hears of a queen to the east, sickly, pale, married at 12, pregnant at 13, dead at 15. This is recounted casually between bites of stew. Such things happen. Further east, kingdoms feel heavier. Poland, Hungary, lands shaped by invasions and uneasy borders. Here, nobles argue practically. Nobles are stern. Humor is rare, but appreciated. The traveler notices that royalty everywhere shares the same traits: fragility, pettiness, a tendency toward dramatic decisions based on personal slights. One insult can mean war. One bad marriage can doom a dynasty. And yet they persist, clinging to power, producing heirs who look increasingly like each other. History marches on, limping slightly. As night falls again, our traveler rests in a monastery. Monks chant softly. Candles flicker. The air smells of wax and damp stone. These men have chosen a life of prayer, silence, and obedience. Naturally, monastery politics are vicious. One monk resents another over candle placement. A third writes passive-aggressive notes in Latin. Even here, human nature remains stubbornly human. The traveler sleeps, dreams of roads, of bells, of bread. And as we let our traveler rest, we'll do the same. In the next part, we'll drift deeper into royal courts themselves, into the quiet dysfunction of kings and queens who had everything except good health, good judgment, or emotional stability. But for now, just listen to the fading footsteps on a muddy road. the crackle of a dying fire. Welcome back. If you've stayed awake this long, congratulations. If you drifted off and returned without remembering how, that's also historically accurate. Our medieval traveler wakes before dawn once again, this time beneath the heavy stone roof of a monastery guest room. The bells ring. They always ring. Time in the Middle Ages is measured less by clocks and more by sudden, unavoidable noise. After a thin breakfast involving bread that has seen better centuries, the traveler resumes the road. Today, the path leads closer to royal power. Not directly into it, no one does that safely, but near enough to feel its gravitational pull. Roads become slightly better. Toll booths appear more often. Guards ask questions they already think they know the answers to. Somewhere ahead is a royal court. Royal courts, despite their glittering reputations, are deeply exhausting places. They're loud during the day, tense at night, and always full of people watching one another very carefully. Everyone is ranked. Everyone knows it. Everyone resents the person just above them. Our traveler does not enter as a guest, of course. Guests need invitations, or money, or both. Instead, the traveler lingers nearby in a town swollen by royal life. Inns are fuller, merchants are richer, gossip is plentiful. And gossip in medieval Europe is currency. Inside the palace, or castle, or palace pretending to be a castle, a king is waking up slowly. He is not well rested. He rarely is. Kings sleep badly. Their beds are enormous. Their rooms are drafty. Their consciences, when present, are noisy. This king inherited his throne young. They usually do. Childhood for medieval royalty is brief and uncomfortable. From the moment they can walk, they're watched. From the moment they can speak, they are corrected. From the moment they show personality, it is discouraged. Our king was married early. The marriage was political, of course it was. Love was considered optional and slightly suspicious. His wife arrived from another court, another country, speaking another language, bringing a dowry, several ladies-in-waiting, and her own collection of anxieties. They met briefly before the wedding. She curtsied. He nodded. This was considered a strong foundation. Now they live together in public and apart in spirit. The queen produces children. This is her primary job. Sons are celebrated cautiously. Daughters are quietly evaluated for future usefulness. Infant mortality is high. Expectations are low. When a child survives, relief is tempered by dread. Will the child be strong? Will the child be sane? Will the child look unfortunate? Royal bloodlines, as we've mentioned, are not known for their diversity. Cousins marry cousins, uncles marry nieces. Family trees resemble ladders more than branches. Portrait painters are instructed to be kind. The king inspects himself in a polished surface. He has a nickname. He didn't choose it. He never likes it. It's something like the mild or the pious. These titles often mean frequently ill and easily influenced. He dresses slowly, assisted by servants who have seen him at his weakest and still must pretend he is chosen by God. This requires discipline. Breakfast is served. Meat, bread, wine. It is early, but wine ignores time. Advisors arrive. Each has an opinion. Each believes the king should listen to them first. One suggests raising taxes. Another suggests lowering them. A third suggests war, because war solves everything eventually, usually by creating new problems. The king nods. He does this often. Decision-making is tiring. Meanwhile, In the queen's chambers, life follows a quieter misery. She is young. She is isolated. She writes letters home that are carefully read before sending. She prays. She embroiders. She waits. Her ladies-in-waiting whisper about politics, about the king's health, about his mistresses, because, of course, there are mistresses. Royal fidelity is admired in theory and ignored in practice. Mistresses have influence, sometimes more than queens. This causes tension, occasionally poison, always resentment. Our traveler hears rumors of all this over stew. Someone claims the king is cursed. Someone else claims the queen has failed to produce a healthy heir. Someone insists a rival cousin has a better claim to the throne and better hair. At court, the cousin in question is also awake. He is ambitious. He is patient. He is related closely enough to matter. These are dangerous qualities. He smiles politely. He bows deeply. He keeps records. He waits. Royal courts are full of waiting. Waiting for death. Waiting for favor. Waiting for someone else to fail publicly. Children run through halls under supervision. Young princes are educated in riding, fighting, and prayer. Young princesses are taught obedience, piety, and how to disappear gracefully into marriage. Some children are sickly, pale, frail. They cough, they faint. They are reassured constantly that they are fine. They rarely are. Doctors are summoned. They apply leeches. They bleed the patient. They consult stars. They are paid regardless of outcome. Naturally, things get worse. Our traveler remains outside this world, but close enough to feel its unease. Royal power does not bring peace, it brings scrutiny. Everyone is watched. Everyone is judged. At night, the palace quiets. Candles burn low. Guards patrol. Somewhere, a king stares at the ceiling, thinking about threats that may or may not exist. Somewhere else, a queen prays quietly, hoping her next pregnancy will not kill her. History records the reign in broad strokes, dates, wars, treaties, but the daily reality is smaller, colder, more anxious. The king snaps at a servant, regrets it, does it again the next day. He signs a document without reading it fully. Someone else benefits greatly. The cousin waits.
Let's drift back in. If you're comfortable, stay there. If not, adjust quietly, like a medieval courtier trying not to draw attention. Our traveler has moved on again, leaving one court behind and approaching another. But before we follow the road any farther, it's time to slow down, to step softly into one of the strangest, quietest, and most uncomfortable spaces in medieval Europe, the royal nursery. Royal children are born into privilege, certainly. Silk sheets, warm rooms, attendance at all hours. But they are also born into expectation, so heavy it settles on their chests before they can speak. Birth itself is dangerous for everyone involved. Queens die often. Infants die more often. When a royal child survives the first few days, there is celebration. Measured, cautious celebration. Bells ring, but not too loudly. God, after all, might be listening and decide to change his mind. If the child is a boy, relief spreads through the court like a warm fire, an heir, a solution, or at least a temporary delay of chaos. If the child is a girl, relief still exists, but it's quieter. She will be useful later. Marriages are already being imagined. The baby is named after a saint, a grandparent, or a long-dead ancestor who once did something impressive. This is meant to help. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just adds pressure. Our traveler hears about one such child in a town near another court. A prince, pale, thin, delicate. He cries often. This is not unusual. The court physician assures everyone the child is healthy. He says this about many children. It rarely proves accurate. Royal nurseries are busy places. Wet nurses come and go. Servants whisper. Tutors observe. Everyone watches for signs. Strength, intelligence, weakness. Anything that might suggest the future. Parents are present, but not constantly. Kings are busy ruling. Queens are busy recovering, or pregnant again, or quietly worrying. Love exists, certainly, but it is filtered through layers of duty and fear. When the child grows, education begins early. Princes are taught to read, to pray, to ride, to fight. They are corrected constantly. Posture matters. Tone matters. Emotion is managed carefully. Crying is discouraged. Anger is tolerated only if it looks commanding. Fear is ignored. Princesses are educated differently. Reading, yes. Writing, sometimes. Music, embroidery, prayer. They are taught to be agreeable, calm, presentable, to listen more than speak, to smile when spoken to accept what comes. Childhood illness is common. Fevers, weak lungs, strange aches. Medical responses remain consistent. Bleeding, herbs, prayer, more bleeding. Some children survive by stubbornness alone. As they grow, the signs of family resemblance become clear. A jaw too large, a chin too forward, eyes that don't quite align. These traits are discussed quietly. Portraits are adjusted gently. Marriage plans are drawn up early, sometimes before the child can walk. Who they will marry, where they will go, what alliance they will secure. Their own opinion is not requested. Our traveler stops at an inn where a former court servant now drinks heavily. He talks because wine encourages honesty. He remembers a young prince he once served, sickly, nervous, terrified of horses. The boy was forced to ride anyway. He fell, broke his arm, was told to be brave. He never forgot it. By adolescence, royal children are already exhausted. They have never been alone. They have never been ordinary. Every mistake is noted. Every success is claimed by someone else.
Some rebel quietly, reading forbidden texts, writing poetry, developing inconvenient personalities. Others retreat inward, silence, prayer, obedience. And some become deeply unpleasant, petty, cruel, easily offended. Power, when combined with insecurity, produces fascinating results. Our traveler hears of a young king nearby, newly crowned, barely 20, raised to believe himself chosen by God, surrounded by advisors who disagree loudly and flatter softly. He makes decisions quickly. He regrets them later. He blames others. He has a temper. This is excused as strength. He has doubts. These are ignored. At night, he drinks. This is encouraged. Royal childhoods rarely prepare rulers for reality. They teach authority without empathy, confidence without experience, certainty without understanding. Naturally, things go poorly. Marriages occur, often between young people who have never met. The wedding is elaborate. The marriage bed is public. This is considered appropriate. The pressure to produce heirs is immediate. Failure is noted. Blame is assigned, usually to the woman. Some queens endure repeated pregnancies, miscarriages, stillbirths, children who die in infancy. Their bodies weaken. Their spirits fray. They smile anyway. Some kings grow resentful. Some grow distant. Some seek comfort elsewhere. Mistresses appear. Illegitimate children are acknowledged or ignored, depending on convenience. Royal children watch all of this. They learn lessons no tutor intended. Our traveler continues eastward, hearing variations of the same story. Different names, same patterns. Dynasties rise, dynasties thin, bloodlines narrow further. The idea of divine right persists. God chose them. This must be true because the alternative is terrifying. In one court, a young princess is known for her intelligence. This is praised politely and then gently discouraged. She asks questions, too many. Eventually, she is married off to someone older, much older. Her curiosity fades into resignation. In another, a prince is clearly unwell. Seizures, mood swings, confusion. He is kept from view. His younger brother begins to attract attention. Quiet conversations occur behind closed doors. Succession is a delicate topic, dangerous, spoken of carefully, sometimes settled with documents, sometimes with daggers. Our traveler senses this tension everywhere, even in places of beauty. Painted halls, tapestries, music drifting through stone corridors. Underneath it all is fear. Fear of death, fear of failure, fear of being replaced. As winter deepens, the traveler finds shelter again. Snow muffles sound. The world quiets. Stories slow. In the firelight, someone tells a tale of a king who never wanted the crown, who was forced into it after the deaths of older brothers, who ruled gently, who was eaten alive by stronger personalities. History remembers him briefly, poorly. Royal childhoods do not end when adulthood begins. The patterns remain. The wounds persist. Authority does not heal insecurity. It magnifies it. As we settle deeper into the night, let these images soften. The dim nursery, the flicker of candlelight, the quiet breathing of a child who will one day wear a crown far heavier than it looks. Our traveler stays in a town where a queen has failed to produce an heir. She is polite. She is pious. She is increasingly irrelevant. Whispers follow her through corridors. Her husband grows distant. Advisors begin suggesting alternatives. Annulments are discussed. These are theological gymnastics performed when politics require flexibility. The marriage was invalid, it turns out. Something about consanguinity, or paperwork, or God's will changing quietly. The queen is sent away. She retires to a convent or a distant estate. She prays. She writes letters that go unanswered. History forgets her quickly. The king remarries. Sometimes marriages do produce children, many children, too many children. Siblings grow up together, competing for attention and favor. Rivalries form early. Parents compare. Advisors take sides. Our traveler hears of a royal family with 7 children. Only 3 survive to adulthood. This is considered successful. Those who survive carry scars, physical, emotional. They remember siblings who vanished quietly, nurseries emptied, toys removed. In some courts, marriage becomes a weapon. A disobedient daughter is married off to a difficult ally. A troublesome son is married quickly to stabilize him. This rarely works. Some marriages are disastrous from the start. Personalities clash, cultures collide, expectations differ.
The couple retreats into separate worlds within the same palace. Infidelity follows, publicly ignored, privately resented. Mistresses gain influence. They receive gifts, titles, attention. Queens endure humiliation with practiced grace. Illegitimate children appear, sometimes acknowledged, sometimes hidden, sometimes raised alongside legitimate heirs, which creates exactly the chaos one would expect. Our traveler passes through Burgundy, where a duke's court is famous for its splendor and its dysfunction. Marriages here are lavish, love affairs legendary, consequences abundant. One duchess is known for her sharp wit. This makes her popular briefly, then dangerous. She speaks too freely. She criticizes too openly. Her husband grows tired of her intelligence. She is sidelined, politely, permanently. Elsewhere, a marriage unites two closely related families, cousins perhaps. This is not unusual. It is encouraged, keeps power close, blood closer. The children are delicate. Development is slow, health fragile. Tutors report difficulties. Doctors blame humors. No one questions the system. In Spain, dynasties double down on intermarriage. It seems efficient. It is not. Jaws lengthen, eyes bulge. Heirs struggle with speech, movement, thought. They are still crowned. Our traveler hears whispers of a future king who cannot walk properly, who cannot chew easily, who struggles to speak clearly. He is protected, shielded, presented carefully. He is married anyway. The marriage produces no children. Blame circulates. Pressure builds. Health declines. Naturally, they try again.
Marriages also end abruptly. Death in childbirth, fever, infection, accidents that may or may not be accidents. Widowed kings remarry quickly. Widowed queens mourn briefly and then comply with new arrangements. Grief is managed. Politics continue. Sometimes, rare moments of affection appear. A king genuinely fond of his wife. A queen who trusts her husband. These moments are brief. History does not linger on them. More often, marriages are endured. Our traveler senses that these unions shape everything. Wars begin because of marriages. Wars end because of them. Borders shift, languages mix. Children are born into impossible expectations. As the traveler moves on, winter deepens again. Snow hushes the land. Travel slows. Stories grow softer. In an inn, someone tells of a queen who refused to sleep with her husband. She was stubborn, devout, afraid. The marriage collapsed. The alliance failed. Blame followed her forever. Another story speaks of a king obsessed with producing an heir. His wife endured pregnancy after pregnancy. Her health failed. She died young. The heir survived briefly, then died too. History records the succession. It does not record the exhaustion. Royal marriages are presented as solutions. They are often just delays. Temporary bindings holding together systems already cracking. As we drift toward rest again, imagine the quiet chambers after a wedding feast. The guests gone. The music faded. Two strangers left alone with duty, expectation, and the weight of a kingdom pressing softly, relentlessly on their shoulders. In the next part, we'll wander into the personal habits of these rulers, the small, strange behaviors that reveal insecurity, fear, and pettiness beneath crowns and titles. For now, let the candles dim. The vows echo faintly.
and the long night stretch on, patient and inevitable.